This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Okay, so it's Tuesday, which on this channel at least means it's Top 5 Tuesday. I've got into kind of a habit of doing these Top 5 videos on a Tuesday. And the other day, I got a fantastic suggestion from a chap called Dave.
Hi John, I've been watching your channel for a while now and I've seen you do a few videos about guitars you've coveted over the years. But how about a video on those you regret getting rid of and why? Stay safe, stay well, and above all, stay sane. Dave.
Yeah, what a brilliant idea. I've done plenty of videos about guitars that I've never owned or never got me hands on. Most recently with me bucket list guitar videos. But I've never done a video about the ones that got away. So that's what we're going to set right today, beginning with
Woolworths Top 20.
Yes, indeed, the Woolworths Top 20. There's a picture of it right there. I'll tell you what, let's have a little bit of a close-up look at the body. This isn't the guitar that I owned way back in the day. This is, but it's a dead ringer for the one that I used to have, and you know, this could have been my guitar. It was an awful thing, it has to be said. When I'm talking about this guitar, when I occasionally mention it, I call it, you know, a collection of sharp edges held together with a guitar-shaped lump of plywood. And that pretty much describes it. It was an awful thing, but I didn't know at the time because I didn't have the experience to know much of a difference between a good guitar and a bad guitar. So why do I regret getting rid of it? Well, it was my first ever electric guitar. And for nostalgia value alone, I wish I still had it. How I got it was, there used to be a phone-in show on the local radio station, and it was called Tradio. And it was like a precursor to eBay, and you used to kind of phone in and buy and sell things, you know, and up to a value of, I think, £25, you know, that was the, you couldn't buy or sell anything for above that value for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe some kind of broadcasting regs. I don't know. And, you know, you used to get people phoning in to say, yes, I'm looking to buy a wheelbarrow and I'm willing to pay up to £8.99, not a penny more. Anyway, a young lad apparently phoned in and said, I've got an electric guitar for sale and I've decided I don't want to play it anymore and I want £25 for it. And this had happened when I was at school, and my mother kind of said when I got home, she says, there's a bloke selling an electric guitar. I know you want one. How much have you got in your piggy bank? I said, well, there's about £20 in there. I was about 12-year-old at the time. And she says, well, I'll give you the extra £5 and you can go and get it if you want. So I did, and that's how I got this guitar. Wish I still had it, as I say, just for nostalgia value alone. So let's move on and see what's next.
Fender Heavy Metal Strat.
Yes, indeed. Here's a picture of, again, not my guitar, but it looks identical to the one I used to own. The Fender Heavy Metal Strat. This was in about 1989. They came out, I think, in 87, and it was Fender's answer to, you know, the whole Super Strat kind of thing. You know, Ibanez, Charvel, Jackson, Washburn, all of those kind of pointy headstock guitars. And these have been reissued recently, which caused me a little bit of a nostalgic smile. And yeah, I didn't really get on with this guitar. It was my first inkling that maybe locking tremolos and me didn't get on particularly well. I tried, I really did. I had a few guitars with, this one had a Carla. Is it Carla or is it Kayla? Never sure about that, but I've always said Carla. It had a Carla Spider trem on it, and it was quite the favourite of this chap here, Greg Howe, who, you know, I had one of his albums back in the day and was absolutely blown away, really, by his jazzy shredding style. And, you know, just to have a guitar that was being, you know, used and endorsed by somebody who had a record deal and whose playing I admired was a big thrill. And it was, as I say, my first ever Fender guitar. You know, I felt like I'd joined the big boys club when I got this one. but, you know, just the neck profile, skinny kind of lollipop stick neck, locking trem, it just didn't really do it for me as an instrument, and with regret I ended up selling it. But, you know, it was my first ever Fender, and, you know, for that reason alone, nostalgia value again. I wish I'd kind of hung on to it or found a way of keeping it. So, let's see what's next.
Fender Japan 60s reissue Strat.
Yes, this is much more my kind of cup of tea, or it was back in the day. I bought this guitar, or not this particular one, but one that looked identical to this in anybody on Teesside will know the Middlesbrough music shop that used to be next door to the swimming baths. Yes, I bought this in, I think, 91, and used this as my main guitar for a lot of years. It didn't stay stock, though. There's a guitar player on the circuit round here, absolutely phenomenal player. If anybody on Teesside will probably know the name Andy Power, and he sold me on the idea of putting EMG pickups into the Strat, because, you know, that's what he had in his Strat. And he had a fantastic tone that he used to get with it. So in went a set of EMGs, and it had a little bit of issues with the fretwork. You know, I'd bought it brand new, and, you know, like often you get a brand new guitar and there's a bit of fret buzz. So I took it to the chap who, let's have another look at another picture of the same guitar. I took it to a local guitar tech, the sadly late and lamented Jim Cairns, no longer with us, I'm afraid, but he said, yeah, I know how you play. How about if I put some jumbo frets in it? And I thought, I'm not sure about that, you know. He says, I tell you what, I'll put them in, and if you don't like how it feels, I'll put it back to stock again. I said, well, fine, yeah, go for it. So it was a Sonic Blue Fender Japanese 60s reissue Strat. It had jumbo frets and it had EMG pickups. And that guitar was my main guitar from about, I think, 91 all the way through to about 2006. It was a great guitar. And then the EMG pickups died, basically. I don't know what happened. I did all the kind of fault finding and everything, and couldn't find any, you know, dry solder joints or knackered connections or anything like that. Replaced the pots and everything, and it just would not make a single sound, you know. The EMGs had just kind of essentially just died. So I put the original pickups back in and sold it. And I paid 300 quid for this guitar back when I bought it in 91 or thereabouts. And I thought, well, it's a bit beaten up and a bit knackered. It's not exactly stock. And I ended up selling it for, you know, what I pretty close to what I paid for it in 2006. And since found out that the reason it was so easy to sell is because they become really desirable and collectible. So I could have got a lot more for it and didn't. So for that reason alone, and again for nostalgia value, I wish I'd kind of hung on to it, really. So let's see what's next.
Gordon Smith GS2.
Yes, this one is well documented. My first ever Gordon Smith. Again, this isn't my guitar, but this is almost a dead ringer for it. It looks like my guitar at first glance, but mine actually had that finish on it. More of a kind of cherry sunburst finish. Yeah, I was a Strat player at the time. I bought this in 94 or 95, so it was before the Gordon Smith company changed hands. And I was a Strat player, and I was gigging regularly, and I needed a backup guitar, so I went through a bunch of different, you know, kind of Strat style guitars as my backup guitar. There were Yamaha Pacificas, there were Washburns, there was all kinds of stuff there. And the backup guitar never ended up getting played because I had that Sonic Blue reissue Strat that was, you know, my main guitar. And it was like, you know, I would never think of picking up the other Strat style guitar, because I've got something that's a better Strat than those are, you know. So I thought it's time for something different, time for a change, and so I thought maybe something Les Paul-like, but I didn't have Les Paul kind of money, and I'd already had by this stage an Epiphone Les Paul and didn't really get on with it. It wasn't really me, so I thought, Gordon Smith, and bought this, and it rapidly became my main guitar. The Strat was spending more time on the stand and being used as the backup guitar than this was. I was using this one at gigs primarily. It's a fantastic guitar. If you don't know about Gordon Smith guitars, then probably you've never seen many of my videos before. They are handcrafted in the UK and, absolutely exquisitely built. As you can see, kind of a Les Paul Junior style kind of thing, roughly based on that, and utterly beautiful to play, versatile, sound great, and, I ended up getting rid of this one because I was seduced by the lure of a PRS and regretted it. The moment I'd taken this guitar to the, all bundled up and packaged up in its cardboard box to the post office to send it on to its new owner so I could fund the purchase of the PRS, I was thinking, what have I done? And so that's a big regret, getting rid of that one. Let's see what the next one is.
Harley Benton Fusion Pro.
Yes, indeed, a Harley Benton. When these Fusion guitars first came out, there's a picture of a fat bald lad who seems quite taken with it. Let's get rid of him. There's a better picture of one there. It's when these Fusion guitars first came out, I was intrigued by them, and I was running the Guitars for Good Causes charity thing at the time, and there was enough of a balance in the GoFundMe to buy one of these. So I did, and was absolutely knocked out by it. It was a fantastic guitar to play. It was resonant and vibrant and versatile and played like a hot knife through butter. It was incredible. These first wave of Harley Benton Fusion guitars weren't without their faults. This was one of the ones where it still had that big, silly string retainer bar just kind of behind the nut, which would knock your tremolo out of tune in a heartbeat. But, you kind of replaced it with some roller string trees and just did a little bit of fettling on it. And then since Harley Benton have got their act together and sorted all those problems out. But I loved that guitar, but it wasn't mine. It belonged to the charity, so it went to the charity, and I thought, I really like that guitar, and I'm going to get myself one, and I did, and it just wasn't the same. It wasn't as good. It was very kind of dull and dead sounding, and it just... the fretwork on it wasn't really as good, and with stainless steel frets, if you need to do any fret dressing and leveling and crowning, that is a whole world of pain you can get yourself into. And it just wasn't as good a guitar. The first one was absolutely superb. It felt like a guitar that cost well into four figures. The one that I bought for myself just didn't. It felt, kind of exactly like what it was, a cheap guitar built down to a price that I never really bonded with. But, if you get a good one, if you get one of those Fusion guitars that is well sorted, and I think they pretty much are these days. My mistake was buying one right in the early days of the production. But if you get a good one, they're excellent guitars, exquisite guitars that punch well above the weight. It's just that the one that I bought for myself wasn't, and the one that belonged to the charity. I should have bought that one off the charity, really, but I didn't. I ended up just getting a replacement, and regretted getting rid of the one that I should have bought, which was the one that had been bought for the charity. So, there you go. Those are 5 guitars that, for one reason or another, either nostalgia value or they were just excellent guitars, I regret getting rid of over the years. Let me know what your 5 ones that got away are down in the comments below. And if you can be bothered, a line or two about why you regretted parting company with each of them. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see that. So that's pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video, found it, reasonably entertaining, and if you have, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not give me a like while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream Friday 5 p.m. UK time, where we drink beer and talk music and guitars. What's not to like? It's a fantastic way to kick off the weekend, and I would love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thanks for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.